What's up, guys? This is Boondocks, and today I want to show off a melee build for Banshee. This build is amazing for killing high-level Grineer and corrupted enemies, as it's going to be able to strip 100% of their armor, as well as cause crits to do ridiculous amounts of damage. The one caveat, however, is that you will need Naramon in order to survive, as Banshee is such a squishy frame that unless you have teammates to back you up and keep you alive, you'll get overwhelmed in solo. With that being said, this is an amazing solo build that will just decimate everything. Or if you're still with a team and you just want to fuck around with it, feel free. So let's spawn 20 Corrupted Heavy Gunners at level 135 and pop them out. So first things first, I'm going to use my Silence in order to make it so that I can get in close enough to actually hit the enemies and get my crits going. So now that I got my crit machine up and I'm invisible, I can now start applying some sonars to the enemy. Make sure you keep those crits going. Every so often you do need to make sure that you re-melee to keep your invisibility up, and then proceed to start killing enemies. So thanks to the sonar and the armor strip, what the fuck? That was weird. Thanks to the sonar and the armor strip, enemies are going to die really fast. So with that in mind, you can kind of start one-hitting enemies, assuming that you aim for their weak spots properly. The weak spots are clearly highlighted as well, if you didn't notice. Yeah. As long as you hit them in their armored-free, crit, high-lit locations, they pretty much insta-die. And because of that, that makes Banshee amazing at killing these high-leveled enemies. Oh. Accidentally kept my auto attack setup going a little too long there. But yeah, that was, I couldn't tell if that was 1 million or 12 million, but it was ridiculous amounts of damage. So how do I do that? Well, for starters, her one ability, Sonar, is going to cause these critical multipliers to go crazy on you, and the fact that the Naramon tree, along with Blood Rush body count combo, causes you to have ridiculous amounts of crits to begin with, she can stack up the damage real fast. Sonic Boom with the Syndicate mod allows you to strip 100% of the enemy's armor, and Silence lets you get in close enough to your targets to initially be able to kill them. Finally, Soundquake, just skip that shit. As far as the build paths are concerned, there's a couple ways to go. The one that I was currently using was using Steel Charge, obviously, and then Power Drift, Transient Fortitude, and Intensify in order to get my power strength as high as possible, and therefore have really good crit multipliers without negatively affecting my power duration or efficiency. Then I'm going to get my duration as high as possible using Narrow-Minded and Prime Continuity. So that way both my Sonic Fracture and my sonars will stay on for a ridiculous amount of time. With this setup, my Sonic Fracture will stay on for about 15 seconds, which is more than enough. Then I'm going to use Prime Flow with Streamline in order to be able to spam my abilities more often, such as Sonar, in order to stack up those crit multipliers. Finally, a Vitality is pretty nice, so that way you can have a little bit of tankiness, as well as be able to health gate thanks to Life Strike. You can go for more of a jack-of-all-trades type build, losing a little bit of power strength and duration, but gaining some extra range, and this is good if you need help closing the gap to initially get that crit off in order to turn invisible. An alternative would go for a ridiculous amount of power strength in order to get your critical multiplier extremely high. The only issue is you won't be able to spam it as often, and you'll have to sacrifice a little bit more duration. But as you can see, with this current setup, it's almost a 13 times critical multiplier. That's ridiculous. As far as my weapon setup's concerned, it's going to be the Temple Royale, and then Pressure Point, Organ Shatter, and True Steel. Of course, I'm going to use the Blood Rush body count combo, along with Berserker in order to increase my attack speed thanks to all the crits, Life Strike in order to health gate, and then Virulent Scourge to apply Toxin proc. Now, of course, that's only because I haven't used any Forma on my war, but you can feel free to swap out Virulent Scourge and Life Strike for pretty much anything you want. The reason I'm using a War instead of, say, like an Arcana Prime is because the War has that longer reach to let you hit those critical points a little bit easier, and the fact that it's going to sweep through the enemies easier. So with that being said, Banshee melee mode is ridiculous at killing high armored targets and making them seem just generally weak. I definitely recommend trying it out if you have Naramon. And only if you have Naramon, really, because otherwise it's just going to be a pain in the ass trying to stay alive. So until next time, guys, like, comment, and subscribe, and peace.